when I was growing up, I mean, they don't call me Pygmy for nothing. I was short. I think I was like 8th grade. I was 4'11", 80 pounds, you know. But my brother was even shorter when he was growing up. He looked taller than me because he was 3 years older. But, you know, he was a small guy. And me, I get by. I love being the small guy. I love being the shortest in class. I got the laughs. I made people, you know, I entertained them. Nobody ever picked on me. But my brother was in the Vogue, and he got his face pushed in it every day. He was always locked in the lockers. He was always picked on. He was always, you know, the butt of people's jokes. And he hated it. And he brought that love home to me every single day. I mean, my brother, I'd walk by him, I'd say, "Good morning, Rick," and he'd just punch me. I mean, boom, nothing else. He'd walk right by me, I wouldn't see him for the rest of the day. I mean, my brother was special. How many of you people have ever been tied to a tree and had an apple shot off your head? My brother would do that. And then he'd look me in the eye and say those 5 words. "You tell Ma, you did." And then there were times, sometimes he gave me a fighting chance. Sometimes he let me wear a jacket before he let me run around the cellar like a carnival prop and shoot me with a BB gun. He wanted me to turn after he hit me, turn and walk back the other way, back the other way. And I did. It was kind of funny until he missed and hit me in the head. My brother used to love to, he loved to give me a sporting chance outside too. Sometimes he'd get bow and arrows and tell me to run, and he'd just shoot at me from miles away. He never hit me. He was good. He was a good shot. But these are the kind of things my brother did. And every time he did something, he'd look me in the eye and say, "You tell Ma, you did." I mean, I remember he used to make me box my sister, and I would never hit her. I would never hit a girl. My sister was a tomboy, and she'd come and she'd beat the shit out of me. You know? "You tell Ma, you did." So, when I was young, I used to always like make things out of clay. You know, it was cheap. It was around. You know, my mother always had clay around, so I was always making things. And 2 seconds later, my brother would come by and just wreck it. I'd make this big, huge King Kong, and there's this whole village. He'd walk in the room and he'd wreck it. "You told Ma, you did." So, one day, after years and years of this abuse, I mean, this is the guy who pulled my head through the crib and left me, my head sticking out when I was a baby. He didn't want me around. This guy didn't give me any appreciation for the first 8 years of my life. It was hell. But I loved him. He was my brother. He walks in and says, I was making this big scene out of clay. He walks in and he just wrecks it. And he laughs and he walks out of the room. "You do, Ma, you did." So, an hour goes by, I'm back, and I then make something else. He walks back into the room. As soon as I see him, I said, "Screw him," and I wrecked it myself. Hell with him, I don't want him to wreck it, right? He looks at me and he says, "Scotty, I'm really sorry for wrecking your things earlier." And I said, "Are you kidding me?" And he goes, "No, really. I'm really, truly sorry. I always wreck your stuff. I always give you a hard time. Can you forgive me?" I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." He goes, "Listen, I just made this castle." And it was a beautiful castle. It took him an hour and a half or whatever, and he made it. It was a big, huge thing. We had brickwork on it. It had a moat. It had this huge stack. And he says, "I want you to wreck it." And I said, "Yeah, right. If I touch that, then you're going to beat the crap out of me. I know it." And he said, "No. I feel bad. I always wreck your stuff. I want you to wreck mine. Here you go." And I looked him in the eye and I said, "There's no way in hell I'm touching that, because then you're going to beat the crap out of me. Honestly, Scotty, you can wreck it." So I said, "All right, fine." I put it right in front of me. I turned and I wound up and I stopped about a foot above it. And he sat there smiling calmly. And I said, "You're not going to hit me." He said, "I feel bad, Scotty. Years and years. I wreck your stuff. I treat you bad. You're my brother. I should be kind to you." I said, "This doesn't make sense." I wound up and I stopped about 8 inches above it. And he just sat there calmly smiling. "Go ahead, Scotty. Wreck it. I feel bad. I need you to do this to make me feel better." And then I said, "Really?" I started to get a little bit more cocky. I wound up with all my might, and I swung at that thing, and I stopped like 1/8 of an inch above it. And he didn't move. He just sat there, smiled, and he said, "Don't be afraid. I promise to God I won't hit you." And I said, "Oh, all right then." I said, "If you feel that way, that means a lot to me." I said, "I don't even want to wreck it. If you give me this respect, I'm happy with that." "Scotty, please, I'm not going to be complete unless you wreck it. I want it to be even." And I said, "Okay, this is great." I pulled that big castle right in front of me. I said, "Finally, I have a chance to be even. Finally, my brother is looking at me as an equal. Finally, we're going to be mano to mano brothers. No longer is he going to kick on me. No longer is he going to put me down. No longer is he going to rub my face in the dirt. This guy finally appreciates me. And who the hell am I to hold back and not make his dreams come true?" So I wound up with all my might, and I swung, and I smashed that castle as hard as I could. And it felt so good. It felt so right that finally we were even. Finally my brother appreciates me. It felt great. For about a second. Until the pain set in. Boom! Like that. I lift my hand up. My brother filled the whole castle tower with the round toothpicks. And I just buried my hand into about at least 50 of them. And they're all sticking out of my hand. And there's blood everywhere. My brother's laughing like crazy. "You tell Ma, you're dead." I bring up that story because I'm thinking my brother tonight. He just found out he had colon cancer a couple weeks ago. He's going into an operation tomorrow. So, if you could think about him too, if you can throw him a prayer or two, that'd be great. You know, positive thought works. So, thanks for listening. Talk to you later.